Chapter 5 The Khalji Dynasty. A quick glance. Foundation of Khalji Dynasty. Reign of Jalaluddin Khalji. Reign of Alauddin Khalji. Conquest of Alauddin Khalji. Administration of Alauddin Khalji. Literature, art and architecture under Alauddin Khalji. Assassination of last Khalji ruler Khusrau Khan. The Khalji Dynasty, 1290 CE to 1320 CE. The political turmoil in the Delhi Sultanate that rose after the death of Ghiyasuddin Balban gave Jalaluddin Firuz Khilji an opportunity to rise to power and establish the Khalji Dynasty, which was the second ruling dynasty of the Delhi Sultanate. He began his career as a Mamluk dynasty official but soon rose to a powerful position under the reign of Sultan Kaikabad, who had appointed him as the Ariz-e-Mumalik. Kaikabad's health deteriorated and he suffered from an attack of paralysis. Several nobles nominated Kaikabad's newborn son Shamsuddin Kaikumars as the next sultan after Kaikabad and attempted to assassinate Jalaluddin. However, Jalaluddin assassinated all his opponents and became the regent to the infant sultan. After some time, Jalaluddin ascended the throne of Delhi in June 1290 CE at the age of 70 years by the name of Jalaluddin Khalji and took over as the sultan. The Khalji rulers ruled for 3 decades. They expanded the Sultanate further. The first ruler of their dynasty was Jalaluddin Khalji. Jalaluddin Khalji, 1290 CE to 1296 CE. Jalaluddin Khalji was a very old and pious man when he ascended the throne, but he was not a strong ruler. He gave up the policy of aggression and followed the policy of peace towards all. Jalaluddin Khalji appointed his close relatives and the people he trusted in important offices. Jalaluddin overcame the initial revolt from the Delhi citizens. With his kind actions and noble gesture, he overcame the resentment of the Delhi citizens. When Balban's nephew Malik Chaju waged a war on Jalaluddin Firuz Khalji, the former was defeated and captured alive but was forgiven by the Sultan of Delhi. Snippet. Jalaluddin was recognized as a mild-mannered, humble and friendly monarch by the common people. To avoid clashes with the old Turkic nobles of the imperial capital Delhi, he reigned from Kilokhri near Delhi for the first year of his reign. Except for a dervish Siddhi Maula who was murdered for supposedly plotting to depose him, he was generous with the rebels. He was also successful in retaliating to the Mongol invasion of 1293 CE. Mongols attacked India during Jalaluddin Khalji's times under Halaku but avoided an open war after some negotiations. Mongols attacked once again under Ulugh Khan. He adopted a lenient policy towards the Mongols and married one of his daughters to Ulugh Khan, the leader of the Mongols. Though his rule was short, it is said that he ruled over his subjects as a father in a family. He had declared himself incapable of tyranny and was a simple and kind-hearted sultan. It is believed that these qualities ultimately became the reason for his death. Jalaluddin Khalji pardoned criminals, whether it was a conspirator or a traitor. This policy was not appreciated by his courtiers and nobles. They were troubled by his kind behavior. In 1296 CE, Alauddin Khalji, his nephew and son-in-law, murdered him and captured the throne. Alauddin Khalji, 1296 CE to 1316 CE. Alauddin Khalji was a great military genius, but he was a cruel and resolute ruler. He followed the policy of defense against the Mongol invasions. Thereafter, he adopted the policy of expansion. He was the ablest rulers of the Khalji dynasty who extended his empire both in North and South India and established a vast empire. Conquest of Alauddin Khalji in North India. In 1299 CE, Gujarat was conquered and annexed by Alauddin Khalji. This gave him access to its ports, which helped him in importing good breed of horses from foreign lands for his army. Then, in 1300 CE, Alauddin defeated the Rajput rulers of Ranthambore and conquered it. He also conquered Marwar, Mewar and Malwa. It is said that he attacked Chittor, the capital of Mewar, as he was mesmerized by the beauty of Queen Padmini, the wife of its ruler Rana Ratan Singh. The Rajputs fought bravely but could not win the battle. The women of the royal family performed Johar. Alauddin had established his control over North India by 1305 CE. Conquest of Alauddin Khalji in South India. Alauddin had great administrative skills and military genius. Having conquered Ujjain and Mandu in Malwa, he could now easily enter into the Deccan region. He sent his trusted commander Malik Kafur to acquire the control of Deccan. Thus, he became the first sultan to cross the Vindhya range. By 1313 CE, the Yadavas of Devagri, the Kakatiyas of Varangal, the Hosyalas of Dwara Samudra, and the Pandyas of Madurai accepted his lordship. He realized that controlling the territories of Deccan from Delhi would be a difficult work. As such, he forced the rulers of the Deccan to accept his lordship and send him annual tributes. Defense against Mongol invasions. The Mongols attacked India 5 times during the reign of Alauddin Khalji. His able generals and a huge army drove back the Mongol raiders each time. Those Mongols who were captured during the war were trampled under the feet of elephants. He even ordered the massacre of those Mongols who had settled in Delhi during the reign of Jalaluddin Khalji. He built new forts and repaired the old ones along the northwestern frontiers and placed them under able generals. Administration. Alauddin Khalji was an able administrator. He followed the policy of expansion and consolidation. To prevent conspiracy among the nobles, Alauddin banned all banquets and assemblies. The nobles were not allowed to enter into matrimonial alliances without his permission. All the gifts, both in the form of land and property, given to the nobles as iktas were taken back. He also set up an efficient spy system so that he could stay well informed about the happenings in the Sultanate and keep a check on the activities of the nobles. His officials were forbidden to collect extra taxes from the peasants. The peasants paid revenue in cash directly to the state. To ensure that nobles did not become more powerful, they were forbidden to maintain armies. Alauddin was the first Sultan of Delhi Sultanate to maintain a huge and well-equipped standing army. He paid his soldiers and cavalry a fixed salary in cash, and they were equipped with horses of good breed. He also introduced the system of maintaining descriptive roll of his soldiers called chehra and branding horses with royal insignia called dag. Alauddin adopted several measures to increase the revenue of his empire, to maintain the large standing army and hire more soldiers. He even curtailed the state expenditure by putting a ban on all banquets and paying the soldiers at reduced rates. He appointed special revenue officers to reassess land and fix new rates of land revenue at 50% of the total produce. Granaries were built to store surplus grains which were to be used in times of natural crisis like famines and floods or shortage of food. Weights and measures were standardized and prices of essential commodities of daily use were fixed. Cheating was considered to be a crime and was severely punished. 3 separate markets for food, grains, cloth and horses, cattle and slaves were set up in Delhi. Various officials were appointed to keep a strict watch on prices, weights and daily activities in the market. The prominent officials among them were Shahana-e-Mandi, controller of markets, Barids, intelligence officers, and Munian, spies. Literature, art and architecture. Alauddin was a great patron of literature, art and architecture. Renowned scholar and poet Amir Khusro adorned his court. He got many Muslim educational institutions called madrasas established in his empire. He built a new city called Siri. Some other architectural achievements of his time were Alai Darwaza to the Qutub Minar, Siri Fort, Hazar Situr, Hauz-e-Alai, now known as Hauz Khas All in Delhi. He started the constructions of Alai Minar in Delhi in the north of Qutub Minar. The exact date of the beginning of the construction of Alai Minar is not known, but it is estimated to be around 1300 CE. He wished to make it twice the size of Qutub Minar but could complete only the first story, which now has a height of 25 meters. He died in 1316 CE. After his death, his trusted general Malik Kafur gave Alauddin's minor son the throne. In 1320 CE, the last Khalji ruler, Khusrau Khan, was killed by Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, who laid the foundation of the Tughlaq dynasty. Snippet: Alauddin called himself Sikandari Sani, or the second Alexander, was proud of his achievements and adamant to outdo Qutbuddin Aibak's Qutub Minar, which was the tallest structure of its kind in the Indian subcontinent. He planned to make Alai Minar as a tower of victory and a symbol of his achievements, double the size of Qutub Minar. The best description of this vanity project is provided by the great Sufi poet Amir Khusro in his book Tarikh-e-Alai, Life and Times of Alauddin Khalji. Glossary: Ariz-e-Mumalik, head of the military department in Delhi Sultanate. Regent, a person appointed to administer a state because the monarch is a minor. Retaliating, to get back to someone, usually through a counterattack. Lenient, of mild and tolerant effect. Tyranny, a cruel, harsh and unfair regime. Resolute, having or showing great determination. Mesmerize, capture the complete attention of someone. Johar, practice of self-immolation by females. Iktaz, an administrative unit in the Delhi Sultanate which is considered to be equivalent to a province. Trampled, crushed to death. Recap: Khalji dynasty was the second ruling dynasty of the Delhi Sultanate, founded by Jalaluddin Khalji in 1290 CE. Jalaluddin Khalji was a very old and pious man when he ascended the throne, but he was not a strong ruler. He gave up the policy of aggression and followed the policy of peace towards all. Though Jalaluddin Khalji's rule was short, and it is said that he ruled over his subjects as a father in a family. He had declared himself incapable of tyranny and was a simple and kind-hearted sultan. In 1296, Alauddin Khalji, Jalaluddin's nephew and son-in-law, murdered him and captured the throne. Alauddin Khalji was a great military genius, but he was a cruel and resolute ruler. He followed the policy of defense against the Mongol invasions. Thereafter, he adopted the policy of expansion. Alauddin Khalji was the ablest ruler of the Khalji dynasty, who extended his empire both in North and South India, and established a vast empire. The Mongols attacked India 5 times during the reign of Alauddin Khalji. His able generals and a huge army drove back the Mongol raiders each time. Alauddin Khalji was an able administrator. He followed the policy of expansion and consolidation. Alauddin Khalji was the first Sultan of Delhi Sultanate to maintain a huge and well-equipped standing army. He adopted several measures to increase the revenue of his empire, to maintain the large standing army and hire more soldiers. Alauddin Khalji was a great patron of literature, art and architecture. Renowned scholar and poet Amir Khusro adorned his court. Alauddin Khalji died in 1316 CE. After his death, his trusted general Malik Kafur gave Alauddin's minor son the throne. In 1320 CE, the last Khalji ruler, Khusrau Khan, was killed by Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, who laid the foundation of Tughlaq dynasty.